Hey guys, Jennifer here and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. Now I am super excited because this week I have a bunch of really cute Easter and spring themed lunches to share with you. And just like last week, after each lunch, I'm going to share with you what they ate, and the kids will let you know whether they like the lunches or not. So give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's get on to the lunches. Hey guys, I am super excited about today's lunch. I think it might be my favorite one for this whole week, and that's because it starts with some yogurt. But to make these lunches extra cute, I'm going to put the yogurt in these really cute silicone liners. Now I found these at Walmart almost a whole month ago, and unfortunately at that time they only had 3 left. So for one of the boxes, I'm gonna have to put some different shapes. Now instead of just adding yogurt in here, I'm also gonna be adding in fruit. And anytime I do this, I like to add the fruit on the bottom. So in here I'm just adding a few pieces of strawberry, and I cut these up pretty small so that they would fit. Then I'm going to cover them all up with this delicious honey flavored Greek yogurt. And you guys, this next part is totally optional, but I have a lot of these really cute Easter sprinkles, and I think they're gonna look really fun if I add just a few to the top of the yogurt. Next, to go along with the yogurt, I'm also gonna be including some little deviled egg chicks. And let me show you how I made these. They were actually really easy. I just started by hard boiling a bunch of eggs. Then once they were cooled down, I peeled them. Then instead of cutting each egg in half like I normally would, I very carefully cut a little zigzag design all the way around the center of the egg, just like this. Then I went ahead and removed all of the yolks into a separate bowl. Then I added all of my regular deviled egg ingredients such as mayo, a little bit of mustard. I also like to add a little onion powder in ours, and of course some salt and pepper. Next, I piped the filling back into each little egg section like this, and before I put the tops back on, I added 2 tiny pieces of olive for the chick's eyes. Then I added a tiny piece of carrot for the chick's beak. Then I placed the top of the egg just like this, so it kind of looks like the chick is breaking out. Now moving on to some veggies. First, I'm going to take some slices of carrot, and I'm going to cut the tips off like this so that they kind of look like tulips. Then I'm going to take some slices of cucumber, and I'm going to cut them in half with sort of a V shape. Next, I'm going to add both of these to a little toothpick, and the idea is that they look like little flowers, and I think these turned out pretty cute. In the center section of the lunchbox, I'm going to add a few of these cheddar bunnies, and then for a very special treat, I'm going to add in just one of these little chocolate eggs. These are pretty small, so they fit perfectly in here, and they're actually hollow in the center. Now this week the kids are just going to be having water with every one of their lunches, but I did go ahead and pick up this pack of bunny-shaped silly straws just to make the water a little bit more fun. Lunch is over now, and here's what they ate.
My favorite was the chocolate egg. My favorite was the chocolate egg and the yogurt, but my not favorite one was the egg because I don't really like eggs. My favorite part was the egg. My favorite part was the yogurt. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay guys, so my first step for this lunch is to get out lots of bread. Thankfully, all of the stores in my area have plenty of bread in stock, which is really nice because anytime I want to make sandwiches for all of my kids, I feel like I'm using like a half a loaf of bread, but I guess that's just how it is when you have lots of kids. So for these sandwiches today, I want them to kind of look like Easter eggs, so I'm going to start by cutting my bread into egg shapes, and I'm definitely holding on to all of these crusts. These will be perfect for tomorrow morning's breakfast. I'll just crack 1 egg in the center of each bread and cook it that way. Next, I'm going to spread on a little bit of peanut butter, followed by a good amount of our favorite strawberry jam. So now at this point, I'm going to set these pieces of bread aside, and I'm going to work on the top piece. And this is going to be the extra fun part. I'm just going to take a few of these mini M&Ms, and I'm going to place them right on top of the bread. And the trick here is once you get your M&Ms on top of the bread, you definitely want to kind of push each one into the bread just like this so they don't fall out. Then once you have all of your M&Ms on there, you can add this top piece, and just like that, you have some really cute PB&Js that look just like Easter eggs. So now I'm gonna move on to some fruit. And you guys, I honestly don't have a ton of fresh fruit in the house right now. And since I'm trying not to go to the store, for this lunch, I'm just gonna add in some applesauce. This has been in my pantry for quite a while. Honestly, not sure if the kids will like them or not. I picked these up at Aldi, and they're basically a blue raspberry flavored applesauce, and as you can see, they are really bright blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this little section in the lunchbox. And then just for fun, I'm also going to be adding in a little Easter egg decoration. Now these are actually recycled cupcake toppers, and I think they look really pretty in the lunchbox. My next step is to add in some veggies, and for today's lunch I'm doing a combination of cucumbers and carrots. For the carrots, I decided to use my teeny tiny Easter bunny cutter to cut out these really fun shapes. And for the cucumbers, I went ahead and just cut those into crinkle cut sticks. So in go the cucumbers, followed by my little carrot bunnies. And then to go along with the veggies in this little center section, I'm just going to squirt in a little bit of ranch. For today's snack, I'm going to give the kids some of these cheddar bunny crackers. Now these crackers are tasty any time of the year, but I especially like to put them in my spring and Easter themed lunches, since they are little bunnies after all. And then to complete this lunch, I have a really fun, easy treat to add in. And these I also found at Aldi quite a long time ago. They're basically a vanilla wafer covered in white chocolate with a really pretty drizzle on the outside. Now all I have to do is put the rest of the lunches together, and then it will be lunchtime. Okay guys, what'd you think?
My two favorite things were the sandwich and the applesauce. My favorite was the chocolate, but I really liked everything. My favorite thing was the Easter cookies, but my least favorite thing was the blue raspberry applesauce. My favorite was a blue applesauce and a bunny cheese crackers and also yam wets and the cookies. See you tomorrow.
Okay guys, for today's lunch, I'm going to be making the kids' favorite Easter bunny sandwich. Now this is something that I've been making around Easter time for years. Basically, this bunny is made by using lots of hearts. I'm gonna start by cutting all of my bread into heart shapes. To these, I'm going to add a thin layer of mayo, followed by a slice of ham, which I already cut into a heart-shaped too. Then on top of that, I'm adding a heart-shaped piece of cheese. So now to make this into a bunny, I'm actually going to turn the heart upside down, and I'm going to take a few extra pieces of bread to create the bunny's ears. And just like that, you have the basic bunny shape, but I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to take a smaller heart-shaped cutter to cut the cheese. Then I'm going to place this upside down on the top of each sandwich. Next, I'm going to take 2 more pieces of cheese that I cut out, and I'm going to place these in the center section of the bunny's ears. For the bunny's nose, I'm going to add a little black olive. For the eyes, I'm just going to add a couple of these little candy eyes. And for the bunny's whiskers, I'm just adding a few pieces of shredded carrot. And there you have it guys, super easy to make Easter bunny sandwich. So now that that's done, I'm going to move on to the fruit. And for today, I'm keeping it super simple. I'm just going to add in some little orange triangles. And I'm also going to leave some space in here for a few pieces of celery. I don't usually combine the fruit and the veggie together in one spot, but I definitely want to leave some space for the special treat for this lunch, which is a fruity Rice Krispie Easter egg. Now you've probably seen a recipe like this before, but mine's a little bit different. To make these, I started with 1 cup of regular Rice Krispie cereal, and then I combined it with 1 cup of Fruity Pebbles. And the reason I'm using half regular cereal and half Fruity Pebbles is because when I've tried making this recipe with all Fruity Pebbles, I find that it comes out way too sweet. So now in a separate bowl, I'm going to add 2 cups of marshmallows with about 2 tablespoons of butter. Then I just popped it into the microwave for about 60 seconds or until everything was melted. I just poured all of it on top of the cereal and mixed it all together. To turn these into Easter egg shapes, I actually took some plastic Easter eggs. I washed these out and I sprayed them with some non-stick spray. Then I just filled each section of the egg and I made sure to press down the center, leaving me a space to put a treat inside. Now you definitely could add any kind of treat that you want, but I decided to add just 1 or 2 little jelly beans. Now you just close up the egg like this, carefully remove it from the Easter egg, and there you have it guys. You can actually hear the little jelly beans inside. The kids will be able to break it open and find a fun surprise. For the snack, I'm going to add in some of these really fun bunny veggie chips, and there you have it guys. And here they are after.
My favorite thing was the ham and cheese bunny sandwich.
My favorite was the Rice Krispie egg, but I also like the bunny sandwich.
I like the orange wedges and the Rice Krispie treat. I like a bunny sandwich.
Hey guys, so for today's lunch, I'm actually going to be starting with our special treat first. And these are actually going to be really easy to make, and they include a fruit. So it's the fruit and the treat together. First, I'm going to take some strawberries, and I'm going to make sure that they're nice and clean, but that they're also dry. Then I'm going to take some of these chocolate melts, and these are actually the orange color, and I'm going to go ahead and melt those down in the microwave. Once they're nice and smooth, I'm just going to dip each little strawberry in the orange chocolate, and I'm going to set them on a baking sheet so they can dry. Oh, and I did go ahead and add a little bit of parchment paper here just to make cleanup a lot easier. Now, I forgot to explain this in the beginning, but hopefully you're going to be able to tell that these are supposed to look like carrots. Now, I think these look pretty cute just as is, but to finish them off, I took a little bit of the leftover orange chocolate. I added it to a Ziploc bag, then I snipped off the tip. Now, I'm just going to drizzle this over the tops of each strawberry to make them look extra fancy. Now, I'm actually going to set all of these in the fridge so that they can get nice and set up while I prepare the rest of the lunch. Now, instead of using peanut butter, I thought it would be an extra fun treat to use this cookie butter instead. Now, if you've never tried this before, it is delicious. It definitely has the texture of peanut butter, but it tastes like a gingerbread cookie. This is definitely a once in a while treat at our house. And I'm gonna actually use this cookie butter to make some adorable teeny sandwiches. Now, I have quite the collection of these little spring-loaded cutters. I think I have them for just about every holiday, but of course today I'm using the Easter-themed ones. And I find the trick to making these is to actually start by cutting out the bread first. Then I go ahead and spread the filling on, place the tops back on, and then I like to press the design into the sandwich. But I do this really gently so that the filling doesn't squirt out. And you guys, here's a tip. If you have some food writer pens or some food coloring, you can actually color on the little stamp before you stamp it onto the bread, and that just makes the design really stand out. So now that our tiny sandwiches are done, it's time to move on to the fruit. And for today's lunch, I'm going to take some watermelon, and I'm going to cut these into flower shapes. And of course, flowers are perfect for spring. Next, for our vegetable, I'm going to add in some carrots, and I already cut these into flower shapes. And then over here, sort of the star of the show, is a little strawberry carrot. And then last but not least, I am going to go ahead and fill this center section of the lunchbox. I'm just going to squirt in a little bit of ranch. Okay guys, so here are the lunches before, and here's how they did.
I liked everything except for the strawberry.
This lunch was delicious.
My favorite was the tiny sandwiches.
My favorite was a watermelon.
We'll see you in tomorrow's subscriber lunch video.